Chapter 13. On the fourth planet lived a businessman. This man was so busy, he did not know of the little prince's arrival. "Good morning," the little prince said to him. "Your cigarette has gone out. 3 and 2 make 5. 5 and 7 make 12. 12 and 3 make 15. Good morning. 15 and 7 make 22. 22 and 6 make 28. I haven't time to light a cigarette again. 26 and 5 make 31. Phew. Then 501,222,731. 500 million what? Asked the little prince. Huh? Are you still there? 501 million. I can't stop. I am a person who is doing important work. I don't interest myself with nonsense. 2 and 5 make 7. 501 million what? Replied the little prince. The businessman raised his head. During the 54 years that I have lived on this planet, I have been disturbed only 3 times. The first time was when some crazy goose fell from I don't know where. He made the most terrible noise, and I made 4 mistakes in my work. The second time was disturbed by pain in my leg muscle. The third time is now. Well, 501 million. Millions of what? The little prince asked again. The businessman realized that this question would continue until he got the answer. Million of those little objects in the sky, he said. Flies? Oh no, little twinkle objects. Bees? Oh no, little golden objects. Ah, you mean the stars? Yes, that's it, the stars. And what do you do with 500 millions of stars? 501,622,731. I am concerned with important work. And what do you do with these stars? What do I do with them? Yes. Nothing. I own them. You own the stars? Yes. But I've already seen a king who kings do not own, they rule over. And what good does it do you to own the stars? It is good for making me rich. And what good does it do you to be rich? I can buy more stars. Nevertheless, he still had some more questions. How is it possible to own the stars? Who own these stars? The businessman replied angrily. I don't know. Nobody. Then they belong to me, because I was the first person to think of it. Is that all that is necessary? Certainly. When you find a diamond that belongs to nobody, it is yours. When you discover an island that belongs to nobody, it is yours. So I own the stars because nobody thought of owning them except me. Yes, that is true. So I own the stars because nobody thought of owning them except me. Yes, that is true, said the little prince. And what do you do with them? I manage them replied the businessman. I count them and recount them. It is difficult. The little prince still was not satisfied. If I owned a silk scarf, he said, I could put it around my neck. If I owned a flower, I could pick that flower and take it away with me. But you cannot pick the stars up from heaven. No, but I can put them in the bank. What does that mean? That means that I write the number of my stars on a little paper, and then I put this paper in the bank. And that is all? That is enough, said the businessman. It is interesting, thought the little prince. It is quite poetic, but it is not important. The little prince had very different ideas from the grown-ups about important things. I own a flower, he said to the businessman, which I water every day. I own 3 volcanoes, which I clean out every week. It is good for my volcanoes and my flower that I own them. But you are no use for the stars. The businessman had nothing to say in answer, and the little prince went away. The grown-ups are certainly strange, he said to himself as he continued on his journey. Chapter 14. The 5th planet was very strange. It was the smallest of all. There was just enough space for a street lamp and a lamp lighter. The little prince could not understand why a street lamp was needed on such a small planet. He said to himself, maybe this man is crazy, but he is not as crazy as the king, the self-important man, the businessman, and the drunk, for he does normal work. When he lights his street lamp, he brings 1 more star to life. When he puts out his lamp, he sends the star to sleep. That is a beautiful job. It is beautiful, so it is truly useful. He respectfully greeted the lamp lighter. Good morning. Why have you just put out your lamp? Those are the orders, replied the lamplighter. Good morning. What are the orders? The orders are that I put out my lamp, and he lighted his lamp again. But why have you just lighted it again? Those are my orders, replied the lamplighter. I do not understand, said the little prince. There is nothing to understand, said the lamplighter. Orders are orders. And he put out his lamp. Then he wiped his forehead with a handkerchief. I have a terrible job. In the old days, it was okay. I put the lamp out in the morning, and in the evening, I lighted it again. Other times, I was free. And then the orders changed? The orders didn't change, said the lamplighter. That is the disaster. From year to year, the planet has turned more speedily. Then what? Asked the little prince. Then the planet makes a turn every minute, and I don't have a single second for rest. Every 1 minute, I have to light my lamp and put it out. That is funny. A day continues for only 1 minute? It is not funny at all, said the lamplighter. While we have been talking together, a month has gone by. A month? Yes, a month. Good evening. And he lighted his lamp again. As the little prince watched him, he felt that he loved this lamplighter. He wanted to help his friend. "You know," he said, "I can help you a way you can rest whenever you want to." "I always want rest," said the lamplighter. The little prince went on. "Your planet is so small that 3 steps are enough. If you walk slowly, you will always have sunshine, so you don't need to light the street lamp." "That doesn't help me," said the lamplighter. "The one thing I want is to sleep." "Then you're unlucky," said the little prince. "I am unlucky," said the lamplighter, and he put out his lamp. "That man would be hated by the king, by the drunk, by the businessman," said the little prince to himself. "He's the only one of them who is not silly. Perhaps that is because he works for others." He said to himself again, "That man is the only one who could be my friend. But his planet is too small. There is no room on it." He was sorry most of all to leave this planet, which could see 1,400 sunsets every day. Chapter 15. The 6th planet was much larger than the last one. There lived an old gentleman who wrote large books. "Oh, look, here is an explorer," he cried out to the little prince. The little prince sat down on the table. He had already traveled so much. "Where do you come from?" the old gentleman said to him. "What is that big book?" asked the little prince. "What are you doing?" "I am an earth scientist," said the old gentleman. "What is an earth scientist?" asked the little prince. An earth scientist is a scientist who knows the location of all the seas, rivers, towns, mountains. "That is very interesting," said the little prince. "This is a real job." And the little prince looked around at the planet. "Your planet is very beautiful," he said. "Does it have any oceans?" "I couldn't tell you," said the scientist. "Ah," the little prince was disappointed. "Does it have any mountains?" "I couldn't tell you that either," said the scientist. "But you are an earth scientist." "Exactly, not an explorer. An earth scientist doesn't go out to count the towns, the rivers, the mountains, the seas, and the oceans. The earth scientist does not leave his desk." The scientist went on. "So he receives the explorers in his study. He asks them questions, and he notes down their travel stories, and if he finds an interesting story, he tests that explorer's moral character." "Why is that?" "Because if an explorer told lies, the book of the earth science would be fake books. A drunk also, too." "Why is that?" asked the little prince. "Because drunks see double. They would say there were 2 mountains, but actually there was only 1 mountain." "I know someone. He would make a bad explorer," said the little prince. "That is possible. Then when I meet a good explorer, I ask about his discovery." "One goes to see it?" "No, that would be too difficult. But one asks the explorer for real data. For example, if the explorer discovers a large mountain, I demand large stones from that mountain." The earth scientist suddenly shouted, "But you, You come from far away. You are an explorer. Let me know about your planet." And having opened his big book, the scientist sharpened his pencil. He puts it down first in pencil, before in ink. "Well," said the scientist. "Oh, where I live," said the little prince. "It is all so small. I have 3 volcanoes. 2 volcanoes are active, and the other is not. And I also have a flower." "We do not write about flowers," said the scientist. "Why is that?" "Because they are short-lived," said the scientist. "What does that mean, short-lived?" "The books of earth science are the most important books of all books," said the scientist. "They never become old-fashioned. So we write of things that don't change." "But dead volcanoes may come to life again," the little prince stopped. "What does that mean, short-lived? Whether volcanoes are alive or not? It comes to the same thing for us," said the earth scientist. "But what does that mean, short-lived?" repeated the little prince. "It means which is quick to disappear. Is my flower short-lived?" "Certainly it is." "My flower is short-lived," the little prince said to himself, "and I have left her on my planet all alone." That was his first time to feel sorry, but he took courage once more. "What place do I visit now?" he asked. "The planet Earth," the scientist said, and the little prince went away, thinking of his flower.